Hello, lords and ladies of YouTube, and welcome back to Nightly Gaming's Nightly Gaming. And today we are going to do our continuation of our gaming news. So just to start things off, I wanted to do a quick shout out to Nintendo and Super Mario for reaching the 30th anniversary. Congratulations, that is a huge milestone, and it is definitely a quite the achievement in our industry. It's you know, longest running continuous series with probably the most at least one of, if not the most iconic figure in all of gaming, which is Mario. I'm really more of a Zelda fan than Mario and more into those kind of games, but I can definitely acknowledge how much he has contributed to the industry and can say congratulations on this just huge achievement. But with that said, I want to move into some other gaming news today. So to start things off, I want to actually go into the world of competitive esports and specifically League of Legends and the World Championships. So the drawing for the groups for the group stage of the World Championships has officially been done. So we now know the groups, and I wanted to go over those and some of the matchups that I'm interested in. So Group A has my personal team that I root for, so a little bit biased here, is CLG. I am primarily a NALCS fan. I do watch some EU, with very, very minor views here or there of the Korean and China circuit. But with that said, so Group 1 is CLG, or Group A, not Group 1, CLG, the Flash Wolves, the Coup Tigers, and Pain Gaming, which is an international wildcard group. So, looking at this, I actually feel quite confident in CLG's ability to make it through the group stage and move on. For those of you who don't know, the group stage, 2 from each group move on out of the group stage to compete into the main tournament. So 2 do not move past. I'm expecting Pain Gaming to not make it. International wildcards have not had great success in the past. I have been hearing that Pain Gaming is particularly good for a international wildcard team, but with that said, I still don't think that they're going to make it, and that seems to be a general consensus as well. So Coup Tigers being a Korean team, Korean teams always are favored in fairly highly. With that said, with the minimal amount I have watched of the Korean circuit, the Coup Tigers actually seem somewhat inconsistent. They sort of seemed like the way that Unicorns of Love and EU play, where they can either play just ridiculously well and do some really awesome things, but then sometimes they just totally drop the ball and you have no idea what they're doing. I would say Coup Tigers are a little bit more consistent than Unicorns of Love. But with that, I think the inconsistency is going to hurt them. CLG has been looking particularly strong this season, not just saying that as a CLG fanboy, but Golden Age, just saying. So I think that they'll at least make it out of group stage, see how they go from there. Group B is Fnatic from EU, and then we got IG, AHQ, and Cloud9. So Fnatic had a spectacular season, went undefeated all season and all during the championship until the finals against Origin or Orihen, depending on how you want to pronounce it. So Fnatic is coming into this looking very strong. With that said, they actually have a fairly tough group. So Cloud9 is realistically probably the weakest link in this entire group. They struggled all season long. They were able to make it back through the gauntlet at the end of the season after 2 reverse sweeps and then a really tough fight against Team Liquid. And they were looking pretty good there at the end, but the thing is I'm still not 100% sure on how that's going to go. Not to mention probably the weakest spot on Cloud9 right now is Hai in the jungle. Hai is very important to their team because of the shot calling that he brings to the team, but with that said, his jungling is a little bit weaker than a lot of the other junglers in this in this roster. So that's probably going to get taken advantage of against him. AHQ is a ridiculously strong team. We saw their great performance at Worlds last year, and they did very well this split. IG, I haven't paid too much attention to, but with that said, they are thought of very highly, and they are coming from quite the strong region at the moment. The China region has just really skyrocketed in terms of ability, and I have to give them some benefit of the doubt. I believe Fnatic is going to make it through the group stages, most likely with IG, although AHQ could take a spot from either one of those teams. The only one I'm fairly certain is not making out a group stage is Cloud9, which is somewhat unfortunate, because I am actually a little bit of a fan of Cloud9, but it is what it is. They got a hard draw. We'll see how it goes though. Group C has SKT Telecom T1, which everyone is almost certain are going to make it through this group. Then there's H2K from EU, EDG, Edward Gaming from China, and then we have the other international wildcard team, the Bangkok Titans. So the Bangkok Titans have a little bit of hype going into this, saying about how they're once again looking, the international wildcard teams in general are supposed to look really strong this year in comparison to past years. With that said, no one's expecting them to get out of this group. There's almost a complete consensus in the community that SKT Telecom and Edward Gaming are making it through. H2K is the third place seed, or no, actually technically the second place seed from EU. But realistically, they're the weakest of the three teams from EU, and there's no chance of them beating SKT or Edward Gaming unless something absolutely unexpected happens. Same with Bangkok Titans; they're not going to be able to beat either one of those heavy hitters because SKT and EDG are both major players in this world tournament. I would expect them both to make it out of group stages and then some. So that's a strong, tough group is Group C. Then finally we have Group D. Group D has LGD, KT Rolster, Team Solo Mid, and Team Origin or Origen, or however you want to pronounce it. There's been a lot of discussion about how it's actually pronounced, from EU. So this one's an interesting matchup. So TSM has made it out of group stages last year at Worlds, has had plenty of World experience, but with that, and they're still a fairly strong team, but with that said, they've had a fairly weak season. I'm looking at this group, this lineup, and I'm not expecting them to make it through. They're probably the weakest one of this group. The other three teams, though, are kind of a toss-up. So LGD is from China, Rolster is from Korea, and Origen is from EU. Origen was the only team to be able to take any games off of Fnatic, and that was during the finals round, and they almost took first place from Fnatic. And they are looking very strong. I mean, when I would argue that their weakest player is Xpeke, who has a lot of shot calling, but I would definitely say their mid lane with Xpeke is the weakest, and Xpeke being considered one of the better mid laners in the world, when he is your weakest player, that is the sign of a very strong team. They are looking very good. I'm expecting a lot out of them coming into this tournament, but with that said, I'm not 100% sure they will make it through. At the very least, I'm expecting a strong showing from them, though. LGD and Rolster, I would put on fairly similar grounds as Origin. They are both very strong teams with good seasons, good, all sorts of stats to back them up going through. With that said, this group is such a toss-up. Even TSN could theoretically make it through if they had a particularly good showing. But with that said, I'm not expecting them to. I think they are probably the weakest team in that group. If I had to guess, though, I'm leaning towards Origin making it through, as well as probably LGD. I think Rollster is going to drop the ball somewhere, but I don't know. That's just kind of a gut feeling. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see how that all plays out. So that's all I have to say about the League of Legends World Championships. That is going to be hosted in Europe. Group stages will be in multiple cities throughout Europe. If you are wondering, you can find it all on lolesports.com to find out any more information that you're looking for. So to wrap up today's news conversation, I want to talk about a Kickstarter success story. So just recently, a game called Eco successfully met their Kickstarter goal. In fact, they were able to double it and reach 2 stretch goals. They got $202,000 and were successfully funded. It is a game that is all about resource management as well as working together as a community to successfully build up a society, develop enough technology to be able to save your Earth while not using resources irresponsibly and causing things like pollution and or extinctions from overhunting, all those kinds of things. So it is a very interesting looking game. It's all about gathering resources and building up your society, but it's done in a way that makes it to where there's an actual consequence to you gathering these resources. It would be a great tool in my mind for educational purposes, in terms of teaching people all sorts of things such as environmental impact of things, how ecosystems operate. It also actually has some interesting ways of dealing with government and social political issues, as well as they're implementing as the second stretch goal that they just barely made is a criminal justice type system. So that's all going to be very interesting ways of looking at it. Not to mention, it's going to be, I think personally, it's going to be a lot of fun as a player. So just as a small disclaimer here, I did in fact back the Kickstarter. So I am going to be a little bit biased there in the fact that I am interested and I invested in it a little bit. I am going to get alpha access, so I'll let you guys keep you guys updated on that. But I am very much pleased with the way the game seems to be heading. It is a great idea, and I am intrigued to see where it goes. But like I said, I will keep you guys updated on that as things progress. In the meantime, if you want to, they are still accepting donations through their website. I will leave all the information down below. So if you guys are interested in helping back it any farther and get into any of those reward tiers since you missed the Kickstarter, you can feel free to. They are more than happy to help have donations come their way. They would love to be able to do even more with the game. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. That is all the gaming news for today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, click the like button down below. If you have any news stories that you wished I had covered, leave them down in the comments below. If you have any comments on anything else, you can also leave comments down below. Comments of all kinds are much appreciated. If you want to see more from me from the future, I do Nightly Gaming's Nightly Gaming and one video every night. If you want to see that, click the subscribe button. You can check out the channel and see my previous videos. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!